All right, this video is going to show you an example of how to use the law of cosine and the law of sine twice to find an angle. So this particular problem, if I try to do the law of sine, I would see that I don't have two sets of matches. So I have one set of match right there, and then if I went here, I don't know that side. And if I went here, I don't know that angle. So my head says it's not the law of sine. Law of cosine, I would need to have the third side in this angle to get this. Or I need to have, so if I'm trying to find this angle to use the law of cosine, I need to know what this third side is. All right, so that is what I'm going to try to do, is figure out what this third side is, so that then I could use law of sine, and then I could use law of sine probably again. So there's a couple ways I can go about this. So I can use, I'm going to use the law of cosine to start and find this side. So these are my matching sets. So this is going to be my x to start. I'll call it y though for this. So to use the law of cosine, I'm going to say y squared is equal to, let's see, 23 squared plus 28 squared. Okay, right now I have the Pythagorean theorem, but it's not a right triangle, so I have to keep going. Then I'm going to say minus 2 times 23 times 28, and then I want to use the cosine of the angle. And again, remember, these guys go together when I do this. All right, now, what I know is I want to solve for y, so that means to undo this square, I want to square root the whole thing. So y is equal to the square root of all that stuff. So I'm going to put all that in my calculator. I'm not going to break it all down. Then I don't have to worry about messing up on my rounding. And I'm going to round at the very end, and I'm actually going to use the bigger number. So when I do all that, I'm going to hit the square root sign, and then I'm going to do all that stuff on there. So I have the square root of 23 squared plus 28 squared minus 2 times 23 times 28 times cosine of 86. I'm going to end the parentheses, kind of watch your parentheses in there, and I screwed that up somehow. Okay, so if I put that whole thing in my calculator, so I have the square root of 23 squared plus 28 squared minus 2 times 23 times 28 times the cosine of 86, hit enter, I am going to get that this is about 34.97. So I'm going to use that value for this. So at this point, I just found out this is 34.97. All right, now that I have that, I can see the easier thing to use is my matching pairs, which would be the law of sine. So this guy matches, and then this guy matches. So I'm going to use the law of sine to find out what x is. So let's go 23 over sine x is equal to 34.97 over sine of 86. All right, it's a proportion, so I know I can cross multiply. So I'm going to just write it out before I put it in my calculator. So that's going to give me 23 times sine of 86. Okay, so make sure you put the 23 in the front. If you put it at the end, the calculator will multiply the 86 times the 23, which is not what you want. It's not 86, it's the sine of 86, which is a decimal. All right, that's going to equal 34.97 times sine of x. Again, I put that in front. All right, I want to get the sine x alone. I can't get x alone, but I can get sine x alone. So I'm going to then divide that by 34.97. Okay, divide by 34.97. So that falls out, that falls out. So now I have this chunk over here is equal to that. And I know I'm looking for an angle. So when I want to find an angle, I'm going to do the inverse key. So I'm going to type in my calculator sine -1, and then I'm going to type all that in. So sine -1, 23 times sine of 86 divided by 34.97. Okay, after I did that in my calculator, I got about 41.0034. So basically 41. So that is what x is. X is equal to 41. A lot of this is done in your calculator, so you just got to be good at your calculator.